How's it going, everyone? In my last video I was shooting the PSA Jakl 300 blackout with the Dead Air Sandman suppressor on it, and I was having a lot of issues cycling at first, and it would get kind of caught right here and then wouldn't go forward, and it was just kind of one of those things that was kind of upsetting, because I was like, okay, is it the Jakl or what's going on? You know, did I get one of the ones that have issues? Because I haven't had issues with it before until I started shooting suppressed. And so what I started kind of thinking to myself was maybe it was the magazines, because I had a couple of other magazines that that weren't giving me issues in that last video. For example, this is a Lancer 300 blackout specific magazine, and this one is giving me no issues. You just ride home with or without ammo. And then I was also using this PSA, I think they are D and H magazines. These are supposed to be like the old USGIA steel mags. Even so, these no issues. And so then I started looking at my other 300 blackout specific magazines. So here is a brand new PMag. This is a specific for 300 blackout. This if you've shot subsonics, you know that the nose of the bullet can be a little bit wider and heavier, so they redesigned 300 blackout magazines to be a tiny bit wider here to allow for that bigger bullet. And so I picked up some of these ones, but this is, like I said, a brand new one. This is not the one I was shooting with in that last video, just to see out of curiosity. And sure enough, let me get that bolt unlocked. Issues, same thing. And so it would ride real slow, it would drag, and then it would stop and it would fall forward. Now when there's actual round in there, it wouldn't go all the way forward because the bullet would be trying to get into the chamber. So we have, I'm trying not to lock it all the way back. So now it would do this hang up where it was halfway open, and with ammo, because of the friction between the round going into the chamber, it would completely stop, or it wouldn't pick up the round correctly, and it was just having issues left and right. And so here I'm gonna keep this hand over here, just gonna hit the mag release, it comes forward. So this thing is dragging on the magazines. Now once I figured that out, I said, you know what, let's try a couple of other magazines. So I started kind of digging through my stuff. I have here a ETS magazine. Oops. Lock that back. No issues there. I'm gonna ride it really slow, just so I'm not being biased. And then I even found an old Gen 2 PMag. This is a 5.56, and I tried that one. Same thing, I'm going to ride it really slow, just not to be biased. And then I found an old Colt mag. This is not it. This is an old Colt mag, produced in 2007. I don't know if you can see the little stamp for the production date right there. But even that one, riding it really slow. Oops, too far. No issues there. So I started kind of looking at like dimensions and stuff between the feed lips, and here is the one that I was shooting with in that last video. And let me see if you can see this. So here in this on the feed lips, there's kind of like white paint right here. So I was marking it with white paint on the feed lips themselves, and then what I was doing was from there I was running the bolt very slowly. Let's see if you can, maybe underneath it. And so I think you can kind of see that there's a little bit of white paint on that bolt right there. And so what I was doing was I was riding the bolt very, very slowly and trying to see where exactly where it was catching on the magazine. And then, so then after that, then I just took a little razor blade and I just started kind of peeling little edges off right here, cleaning it up here, sanding it down, just make sure that it was still within function. And then I kept checking it back and forth and just watching that little paint strip, seeing if it was coming off and it was catching on the bolt. And now it is not catching at all. So the issues I was having with the Jakl was 100% magazine related. For some reason, these, see, you can see it right there, 300 blackout specific PMag magazines do not work well in the Jakl. Actually, I shouldn't say they don't work well. It's more of an issue of they're off. The dimensions are off just a little bit, and so we have maybe a couple thousandths of an inch, and literally all I did was, let me grab my knife real quick. All I did was take it apart so that I wasn't having to hold the follower down, and then I was literally just kind of scraping a little bit of material away, sanding it down, checking it, scraping a little bit of material, scraping a little bit of material, scraping a little bit of material, and then kind of back and forth until that bolt started not catching. I still have a little bit of work to do. I can still sand a little bit down here on the inside of the feed lips, but I don't want to go too fast because I don't want to, compromise the polymer, and then next thing you know, then I ruin the magazine. But I do want to eventually put this magazine through tests before I actually do the same work to the rest of them, just to make sure that it's not going to malfunction, the feed lips aren't going to crack, that I'm not working too fast. If you are having the same issues with these PMag 300 blackouts, I would not recommend doing it with the Dremel. It just, you take too much material off too fast. Like I said, a razor blade right on the inside, then a little bit of sandpaper. You could use a file maybe. Just Dremel takes too much material off too fast, plus you could heat it up and that could compromise the polymer. But like I said, to me, for me, with my Jakl, it was an issue with the magazine, and so I want to run more tests. I want to run some more subsonics through the Lancer and the this fixed 300 blackout PMag magazine, just to make sure that I have more information to 100% conclude that it is not the Jakl and it is the magazines themselves. So if anybody from Magpul is out there watching, 300 blackout magazines, Jakl, they are not playing nice together. But I hope this video helps anybody who has a Jakl, who has had issues with the PMags, but not issues with the other magazines. It seems the Jakl seems to be running very well. Like I said, I'm gonna put more rounds through it to make sure that it was exactly the magazine, and I'm not having issues with the bolt. Like I said, I've heard some of these bolts are out of spec, and that's why people have issues with feeding and with extraction and all sorts of stuff. I was only having issues with what I thought was feeding, but it turned out to be magazine drag or bolt drag, depending on what you want to call it. But like I said, I hope this helps. I hope anyone else who may be having issues, this kind of helps them diagnose it and see if it's the magazines or if it's their Jakl. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time.